The way Northern Canada is absolutely shirking on their commitment to create more light pollution. Step it up! What, you think I instinctively sin Comcast when the Universal logo pops up? I contain multitudes. Comcast. Glow Boy never once offers a ride on his cool hover moon to any of these people he's pretending to be friends with. Officers who believe the badge gives them the right to put lives at risk by driving this recklessly. Also, why aren't your lights and sirens on? However, I will say that this despicable lane straddler deserves every misfortune that befalls their dirty road-hogging soul. Manholy sh**! Manhole up in manhole just had his manholes holy manslaughter. This box of bees turns out to be a box of bees, which makes this joke inaccurate and not funny. Nice try, cartoon movie about a dog that merges with a policeman.
It's him! Greg the dog! Hit the siren!
Is every police officer equipped with a dog? If not, do they just not get sirens? Street.
If something happens to me, take care of my girlfriend Alice, will ya?
Assuming a dog can take better care of your girlfriend than your girlfriend can. Also, Greg is coming with you, asshole. What makes you think he's any more likely to survive this than you are? Right, very normal shifting gears of totally parked, openly reversing, underdrive, going now, and hell no, if you've shifted this far, you've made a mistake.
Officer Knight, it's the chief. Can you hear me? Answer me!
Having luck this terrible and not realizing long ago that your entire life is the setup to a series of punchlines.
Won't have to worry about you anymore.
This bomb suggests that Petey somehow knew Knight and Greg would land on this roof, placed a bomb here ahead of time, and set the countdown timer to within a minute of them landing here. Not impossible, but this is a level of competence Petey will refuse to demonstrate for the rest of the movie.
There's no one here. I don't care. Get him out. Worst cop.
He is not. Also, destroying your only means of communication with the cop who is about to risk their life attempting to defuse a bomb probably makes you the worst chief ever.
Aren't dogs colorblind?
The bomb explodes, but there is a single frame after the explosion which shows an unexploded bomb and a Knight and Greg still in one piece. You thought we wouldn't notice, fuckers, but we did. Also, I just want to be clear that this children's property starts with the policeman blowing himself and his service animal up so that their mangled remains could be united into some sort of dog-man hybrid. And how is this not a horror movie?
Tell me, nurse, what's your idea?
What if we sew the dog's head onto the man's body?
This works. Also, sorry, I can't leave this out of this works, no matter how well it sums this up. They are sewing a dog's head onto a man's body. And this is just a thing that happens in this universe. No big deal. Spoiler, it's a big deal. Leaving your full donut box open in the operating room. I'm not even sure which is worse, the contamination threat or having stale donuts. It's the stale donuts. Also, the doctor's feeling the need to use these modesty leaves when the charts are already X-rated.
Dogman!
So, dog head, but everything neck down is human? Nipples, belly buttons, penis, toes, the whole thing. And he's not in rehab for months getting used to this? Yes, I continue to argue the logic of this ridiculous premise in an attempt to make it make sense. Welcome to CinemaSins. We serve fish tacos every Thursday by the jacuzzi. Also, roll Bassets. Street.
And even pitched a no-hitter at the charity softball game.
Which was erased from the record books considering he was pitching overhand during a softball game. Wait, why won't his head fit through the dog door? It's his dog head? Did they increase the size of the dog's head? Why? How? But mostly why? Also, I realized I'm not done exploring this morbid concept. The idea was that Officer Knight had the physical skills and Greg the dog had the smarts. But is the movie suggesting that martial arts skill knowledge is stored in the muscles of the body?
Oh, I'm sorry, but the open house isn't until this afternoon.
Thinking you have time to make this half-primered monstrosity of a house ready to show by this afternoon.
The owner left so fast with her new boyfriend. Oh, and her new dog.
The movie wasn't content with killing a human and a dog in its opening 10 minutes, so it also made sure the surviving dog-man abomination was abandoned by its owner's girlfriend. Guess it's never too early to make sure kids know the world is gonna f them at every and any opportunity.
Get him in here now. We still gotta find Petey.
That shouldn't be too hard, since SNL tends to pop in every f***ing thing from music videos to kid movies to Mayo commercials. This joke would be a lot funnier if they hadn't already used it. The wrench arrangement on this board is unconscionable, and I'm starting to believe this really is the world's most evilest cat. Petey is what I imagine you'd get if you crossed Garfield with Tony the Tiger, an annoying voice and a bunch of jokes that aren't funny. Oh sure, if you got a sewn-on dog head, it's all super cute when you pounce on your boss and start licking him. But I do it just that one time, and all of a sudden HR has to get involved.
I get enough grief from the mayor. Petey, the world's most evilest cat, escaping from jail all the time.
We've got a stressed-out police chief who's always yelling at our protagonist cop. You know, to prepare the kids of 2025 for all the 80s cop movies they're going to inevitably watch remakes of in the 2030s. Oh sure, if you've got a sewn-on dog head, it's all super cute when you sneak under your boss's desk and start nuzzling his crotch, but I do it just... Does no one in this universe know how to protect their donuts?
This is Sarah Hadoff bringing you the Dogman Arrests Petey montage.
And this is Jeremy bringing you the hanging a lantern on your fourth wall breaks like you think you're Deadpool or some sin. Dogman gets sucked into the vacuum to drown, and the only reason he survives is because Petey trips and accidentally pops the vacuum bag. The movie played like DM was a genius for choosing to let this vacuum chase him into the ocean, but in reality, he only succeeded because of a cat's lack of balance, despite the fact that balance is like a cat's whole evolutionary thing.
So long, suckers!
Wow, that's just bad prison yard design. Also, it's not a montage if you're just playing multiple complete scenes of capture and escape with full dialogue and narration as it happens. That's just a series of short films.
The Love It or Leash It 2000. The Great Expectations 2000.
The Butt Sniffer 2000!
These inventions make it seem like someone really wanted to make a wacky racist movie, but quickly realized that I might be the only person who wants that. The lazy reporting that has resulted in this squiggle being repeated here and this squiggle being repeated here. Wait, why do villains love Dogman if he's doing a great job at copying? I think I understand what the movie means by nonplussed in this instance, but all available cultural evidence tells me that that is impossible.
Excuse me? Are you saying my brother is bad at running cat jail?
Being this invested in how good your brother is at keeping that pussy on lock.
Oh, that's not fair. Here, call this number.
Life's not fair.
The movie actually went to the trouble of having this be a real number that results in being told that life's not fair. And we applaud that level of detail, which means that this is the first sin removal in history for this works. This dog howls while listening to sad old country music's on for all the some skip.
They'll never find me here.
This joke would be a lot funnier if they hadn't already used it.
Oh, I sent you your money.
Puka shells are not money.
It's that kind of attitude that trashed the puka shell market and lost me all my inheritance money. It was a shrewd investment, Mom!
That's it!
I feel like DreamWorks issues a mandated quota of fart jokes, puns, and this literal light bulb moment gag to all of its movies before giving them a green light. Congrats to Dogman for destroying its quota in under 20 minutes. Adults, kids, and everything in between, please do not Google any version of Stuff's a Lot unless you're prepared to purge your browser history. Using 3 random blue pins in this yellow arrow when there are so many other yellow pins available. There's some extras here, or even here. Now, I'd accept you using the ones making the dot on the question mark, and then making that dot blue if you want. Look, I'm clearly an easygoing guy who doesn't ask for much, but I swear to the Moses-shaped cloud I just saw in the sky this morning that if you don't sort out your color consistency on this board, I'm gonna lose my f***ing mind.
But he couldn't come to life unless someone stole him and flew over the living spray factory.
I can't believe DreamWorks felt the need to slip what could easily be a fertility clinic or a brothel into a kids' movie.
You only have one job to do.
He said one job, but he's holding up 2 fingers, so now I'm confused about what he means and concerned that I may have to check my math. Like, I'm sure I'm right about this, but I was sure about the gravity thing too. Going to the expense of using all the lasers from Entrapment, but not splashing out on the weighted trigger trap thing from Indiana Jones. The amount of destruction villains could cause in movies if someone just released a how not to taunt your nemesis before executing your villain's plan masterclass online would be something I'd be willing to invest in.
Let's get more specific with all that evil.
The 21st century. I'd like to know more about what happened in this alternate reality that allowed for a TV to be fitted with a VHS player and a USB port, but completely skipped DVD technology. Also, zoom and enhance clicheing on a regular-ass television.
Step 1, insert DNA into the DNA chute.
Actual recording of my father having to talk with me when I was 8 somehow makes it into the audio track.
Step 4, wait 18 years for your clone to reach adulthood?
Even a cat who would reach maturity after 18 months? Or was this cloning machine built for humans, but miraculously also works on cats? Dotting your capital I's.
I want my life back!
Kids.
Okay, listen up. You're my clone, which means evil runs through your veins.
I did not come into this expecting a direct ripoff of a plotline from Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me. Congrats, DreamWorks. You can still surprise in the worst ways possible.
Do you have car seat?
A what?
A kid's car seat.
I'd be more concerned about the fact that apparently this B-copter has an open cockpit, no restraints, and no side doors. So you can sit in a car seat if you like, but not sure how much cushion it will be when you fall out and hit the ground from 1,000 feet up.
Ah! It's stuck!
Not sure how you could tell that unless DreamWorks is tightening the purse strings and making their characters animate the scenes they're in themselves.
Oh, great! Look what you did! It went down the wrong pipe and it's stuck!
Actual recording of my father having some addendums to the talk with me when I was 11 and got curious about the vacuum attachment somehow makes it into the audio track. How is this coffee mug a hidden switch when we've seen it on other parts of the desk throughout the movie and even seen it bounce when you slammed your hand earlier? And yes, I realize he's about to turn his lower desk drawer into a secret dungeon TARDIS, but the coffee mug thing is 30 times as annoying to me, so f*** it.
What's wrong with people? How much is a free kitty? I don't know. Maybe it's free?
But that's the joke, Petey. It's funny because it's free, and she couldn't conceptualize the idea of no payment in a capitalistic society, so she had to think of free in terms of commerce instead of gratitude. Jeez, Petey, you can't sin the joke. What a moron. These moths that were apparently waiting here for this specific light to turn on. The inference from this vehicle's paint job is that the company specializes in delivering pizza in U-Haul type trucks at fast speeds for the express purpose of killing road cats. The movie will never wrestle with the ethical implications of this business plan. God decides to turn off the stars for humor, but then immediately turns them back on again as they are walking home like some kind of ambivalent deity dick. If this movie turns into a sequel of Hundreds of Beavers right now called Hundreds of Squirrels, I'm giving all the sins back.
Papa and Me by Lil Petey.
I could sin how Lil Petey managed to find the time or stationery to create this book without Petey realizing. I could also sin how at the ripe age of an unspecified but definitely just a few days old, Lil Petey self-taught himself how to draw and write. But instead, I'll be focusing on the sinful odds of this book floating its way from this haphazard throw to land exactly in Petey's toolbox for this emotional kick in the whiskers.
Papa and Me are in the air. It rained, and Papa and Me went into the lab.
Rhyming air with lab. Being so bad at eating that you turn yourself into a poonicorn, the movie has finally learned how to actually montage, and without the need for the fourth wall shenanigans. I'd give a sin off if it hadn't already taken a few practice runs to figure it out. There will be no movie mulligans on my watch, thank you very much. The fact that Laser Pointer Palace has been open any amount of time and not been medical liability into bankruptcy. Stealing my college girlfriend's autobiography. We now return you to the dead fish stuck in the factory story, which is still going on despite the Dogman and Lil Petey montage that appeared to take place over several days, if not weeks. This sin is on behalf of all the parents who had to console their screaming kids as they watched a man convincingly pretend to lose his arm in the guts of heavy machinery.
You still owe me.
I paid you!
Bottle caps are not money!
It's this kind of attitude that absolutely trashed the bottle cap market, lost me my second inheritance, and it was a sure thing, Mom!
I need you to scan this and find the kid who made it.
I can't even begin to fathom the kind of technology needed to make this make sense, short of a f***ing precog being buried inside this robot.
That's ADHD. He can find anybody.
Get it? ADHD sounds like ADHD? They sound the same, so that's funny. It's very funny!
When I was a kid, my pop didn't do anything for me.
What? A villain with daddy issues? Get the f*** out of here with that originality. Dogman woke up in the middle of the night to find that Lil Petey was missing, searched the house thoroughly, and then apparently gave up until morning, because there's just no chance he could be anywhere not inside the house, and if he is outside, it can certainly wait until morning. When we last saw this laser shop, the road was nowhere near this curve, suggesting that a series of tectonic shifts have manipulated the substrate of the city in a way that has precluded damage to the asphalt, but affected the curvature of the city. Okay, it's probably just a tired animation gimmick, but I enjoy my answer more.
My papa? That guy abandoned me! Do you have any idea what that feels like?
Yes.
Glad the silly nonsense sewn-on Doghead movie is shooting for a bit of the old escaping the perils of generational trauma thematic resonance. Weird that my tear ducts are still completely dry somehow.
The living sprays brought me back to life.
Waiting 51 minutes to introduce Ricky Gervais when the option of waiting until the movie was finished was right there.
The entire factory's coming to life.
It's interesting to me that the living spray decided to treat this entire building as one life form instead of bringing to life its individual components. It's never explained, and it doesn't make any sense for it to act this way. But stop worrying about that and enjoy your concrete kaiju battle, nerds. Also, why would the living spray add elements to the building, like these arms, gloves, eyes, and teeth? Why can't it just be a featureless and unrelatable gray rectangle bumbling around the city, which would much better satisfy my need for technical accuracy? Also, just once I'd like a movie like this to recognize that buildings that come to life would have to deal with all sorts of foundational necessities below ground level. They don't just sit buildings like this flat on the ground. When will animated building movies get this right? Oh, for f***'s sake, why would a building even have this butthole exhaust pipe? We just saw that there's nothing it would be connected to underneath.
When I was a kid, I lost someone too. My gerbil.
Responding to a half-dog, half-man who had the cloned child of his nemesis kidnapped right from under his nose with a story about losing a gerbil has managed to land a new high score on the Making This About Me scale.
Mechanical exploding squirrels?
First of all, this looks nothing like a squirrel. Secondly, wouldn't a tennis ball be just as enticing for Dogman and a lot easier to engineer? Thirdly, if you prioritize being able to hit him with the damn explosive, you wouldn't have to go to the trouble of making it look like anything worthy of being chased.
They're up on that giant euro!
Yo, it's a cheesesteak.
F you both, it's a taco.
After a wild chase ending in a giant euro.
It's a cheesesteak.
Gosh, can you imagine being that nitpicky about something that doesn't matter?
Incredible twist here downtown. Lil Petey is actually Petey's son.
Broadcasting the identity of this minor and his relation to a wanted felon to the entire city. Sarah's a real piece of shit.
Say bye-bye, dog man! What?
Look, convenient second villain that we barely know and only exists so we can like both Petey and Dogman at the end. Your instructions were to destroy all do-gooders, not find the most super do-gooder and destroy the do-gooders in order of do-gooderness. Quit breaking your programming for dramatic effect.
How about that?
In color.
God, what was that?
I'm gonna guess the drugs are kicking in. We all did take drugs for this, right?
Let's see if they can find you before the ticking clock runs out, shall we?
What happens then?
Well, nothing, if I'm being totally honest. I just thought we needed the ticking clock.
But you do need a ticking clock. When the ticking clock runs out, you kill the kid. If there's no ticking clock, there's no urgency. There's no reason for the heroes to rush and panic instead of taking the time to put a plan together. Yes, it's a cliche, but we need cliches, Flippy. Stop ruining movies with your insightful nitpicking.
Now, my beastly building, arise and attack!
Do we know why the building has aligned itself with Flippy? No. We don't get a single second of tragic backstory that would justify this team-up, and that we would have absolutely sinned for being contrived and unnecessary. A reminder that shooting U.S. mail with your mecha to try and destroy a rampaging sentient factory building is a federal offense. Also, where the f*** did those letters even come from? They either made a stop at a USPS depot, which is bullshit, or they enveloped and stamped them all themselves, which is even more bullshit.
Millie, we have an emergency! Extra toilet paper in the closet, Chief!
Millie seems to think that Chief is either shit in his office or has run from the bathroom to his office pre-wipe to shout for help. Either way, I would expect immediate follow-up questions. I don't know what material this clothesline is made out of, but I feel confident when I say it probably isn't hold up a falling multi-story building material.
Get away from him, you fish!
Expecting me to believe Petey has watched Alien Romulus enough to quote it. Apparently the living spray should be called the selective living spray since it only affects a few things that the movie is interested in coming to life, instead of bringing to life a screaming chorus of panicked sentient blades of grass who have been ripped from oblivion to a world where they are doomed to be walked on, pooped on, and cut in half by a giant rotating blade every week or so. I guess we were just supposed to be okay with the idea that everyone inside these buildings died a fucking hideous death. A few of the implications of this mech battle. 1. Dogman and Petey are completely fine in their exposed positions with no restraints riding this mech. 2. They built this mech with detachable shorts with a comedic timing chip to know when to fall down. And 3. That this decorative ice cream cone is made of real ice cream. Fine. Whatever. But what the hell is up with the random sporadic uneven windows on the high rise? Sigh.
Oh, RoboCat, come out and play!
With this Warriors reference and this Die Hard reference,
Flippy-ki-yay, Flippy Flipper.
I think you may have abandoned your demographic.
Oh, you're much cuter from a distance. Can I say that? Do you mind? Because up close, you kind of look old and sad.
Flippy's dialogue feels like it was written by someone who had heard about Ricky Gervais' Golden Globes appearances third hand from someone who didn't actually understand what was happening.
Now, how should I get rid of this guy?
With you basically dragging little Petey around for 5 minutes earlier and now this, I'm starting to suspect your programming interprets destroy as stall for time while the movie figures out a convenient way to deal with me.
Because I was mad.
No, you were programmed. Play by your own rules, movie.
Flippy and me went under the sea.
Tempting Disney's lawyers by drawing a crab in the picture accompanying this text. Teaching kids that the choice between sacrificing a living being or an inanimate object, no matter how sentimental, is something that requires consideration.
Peter's been pardoned for being a do-gooder.
Wait, serialistly?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you'd think he'd get life for how many people he endangered, or at least a basic 4-year sentence. Come on, Chief, it wouldn't take too long to have your new reporter honeycomb through the offenses for something that might be special, okay? But I guess Petey can thank his lucky charms that his mayor is raising brand awareness right now. But when that brand flakes because people realize he might cap and crunch some other unsuspecting innocents, don't get your kicks by coming crying to me, because those tricks only work for kids. Nope, I've had enough of this total nonsense. I'm out. Cheerio.
Undo? Never.
Throwing your magical undo button into the sewer where things exist that should remain firmly in the do category. If Dogman is a creature that barks like crazy at squirrels and mail carriers, then he is not a creature that responds to a door knocking with a
Everybody howl!
Teaching kids that it's okay to howl in the middle of the f***ing night, waking all the neighbors and certain narrators who finally decide to go to bed at 4 a.m. but get woken up at 5 a.m. by f***ing dogs that shouldn't be allowed outside that late and get off my f***ing lawn.
Everybody look out! There's one more building on the loose!
Gooba Gaba rave music is the exact phrase my brain manifests whenever I try to understand TikTok. Also, this one final fake-out threat that turns out to be a dance party is super annoying, and that's the only rave review I'm giving this movie.
tonight. It's the chief. Can you hear me? Answer me!
Welcome to the party, pal!
Come on, Bones, what's the mystery? Brain is gone.
Great idea and stuff.
How many times have I told you, don't say and stuff? Just say, Dad, there are whores here.
Hiya, Georgie. The mayor called the chief called the deputy chief just chewed my ass out. You see, I don't have any bit of it left, don't you?
Seamus, are you sure about that?
Damn Scots! They ruined Scotland!
Squirrel!
Let's do this. You're my clone, which means evil runs through your veins.
What?
You're destined to be a villain.
She touched my peppy, Steve.
You're my clone, which means evil runs through your veins.
Okay.
You're quasi-evil. You're semi-evil. You're the margarine of evil.
Is that your house? Wow, it looks bigger on the inside.
Is it? I've noticed. Well, you got a head like a water buffalo.
Where's my water buffalo? Why don't I have a water buffalo?
Robocar!
Yippee-kayak, other buckets! And then Lil Petey saved Dogman and Petey. And then Petey saved Lil Petey and Dogman. Now Dogman and Lil Petey are saving Petey. I got one question. Who's the hero?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.